In Africa, we have already identified some key relevant use cases that needs to be addressed immediately. Although many of them have already been discussed during these days, but keep in mind that, for example, when it comes to smart metering or utilities or energy metering, keep in mind that water and electricity are very rare resources in Africa. So most of the utility companies have to, to manage the smart metering because it's very critical for them. Second, you have some applications in agriculture and farming. For example, cattle tracking, livestock tracking is a very critical application for farmers in Africa. Irrigation also is very critical because there's not a lot of water for irrigation, so people need to be aware of water usage. We have also problems for flood, forest fire prevention, because you have many forests that are threatened by either incidental fire or criminal fire. As you know, Africa is growing very well. So you have many people from rural areas going to cities, and people are not aware of the side effects of pollution. I can give you, can tell you a joke. Most of the old diesel cars in Europe go and have a second life in Africa. So you have a very high rate of pollution, although car usage is not developed as in Europe. So these are mainly the key areas where we can have business immediately in Africa or any other kind of emerging markets. Okay, what's next? So first of all, let's move towards Africa. Let's not wait until African companies or African customers come to us. Second, we need to raise the awareness. Talk to regulators, for example, in order to change their mindset, in order to tell them that everywhere in the world, the 868 megahertz band is free, is unlicensed. Third, we need also to educate. Education goes through universities, through high schools, and whatever. We need also to develop specific solutions with cost effectiveness, because definitely, as I told you, the purchase poverty of these countries is lower than in Europe. And then also the key message, the key takeaway from all these sessions: help people certify their products. Certification is very important, and this is the this is the key element that makes all these solutions interoperate. And thank you for your attention.
We're running a little bit early. Is there any questions in the audience for Anas? There's microphones right here and there. Don't hesitate. Can I just ask, from your experience, what have been the first clients you got on board in Africa? What are the things that, out of the ones that you mentioned, where are you seeing traction for your own efforts?
Where mostly we don't have, right now we are just building proof of concepts for many customers, but many of them are private sector customers. I mean, farming, land farmers, cattle farmers, for example, people who have livestock, because when you go in Africa, you do have, the classic farming, animals in closed places, but most of the time, 80% of the livestock in Africa is, in the nature. You have cows, you have camels, you have sheep. So they are not. People cannot afford to have closed places or dedicated places for livestock. Farming is also irrigation is also an application where we have a lot of potential. Many companies are selling solutions, but unfortunately they are not based on LoRaWAN, because they use some proprietary protocols like Zigbee, like Z-Wave, like Wi-Fi. So the market, how to say, the market is there. So we need to push to go towards and have a strategy for that.
Thank you. Any other questions? Just go around the microphone just behind you. So we can have it on tape as well, please. Thank you.
Okay. Daniel Lappe from American Tower. You mentioned education, and we kind of have the same situation in Latin America. We are deploying LoRaWAN there in Brazil. Do you have any program or some kind of partnership you do with universities and educational institutions to promote this, or maybe to make the network available to them to promote local ecosystems or things like that?
In my country, Tunisia, we already have some universities that have dedicated courses for IoT. This is because of the proximity that we have with all these people. But independently from that, what we are doing is that we are providing some universities free of charge access to our network. So what we need is to raise the awareness within the students that will be engineers and then that will be working for some companies. So we are providing free of charge connectivity. We have a connectivity plan, which is called Starter Student and Student Starter Kit. And they can have up to 50 devices with unlimited connectivity plans. So either with a dedicated gateway or with a public gateway. So they have their own development, let's say, they have their own development environment, and they have a vendor access to our solution.